I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I haven't spoken in public since the last time I was here, so you'll have to pardon me if I'm a little rusty and I fumble a little bit. It's quite a valuable exercise for me to go through preparing a talk, because it gives me a chance to go into some ideas a little bit more deeply, and I appreciate that opportunity. So today I thought I would talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is riding, and more specifically, riding well. And obviously, in a half an hour, we can't really address that subject very fully because books are written about it. But I thought I would try to pick out a couple of nuggets that might be useful along the way. And what I thought I would do is take one part to address some mental aspects of, or psychological aspects of riding well, and then address some ideas about riding philosophy, particularly the use of the rider's seat and the horse's back, and use that as a little segue into what I do every day, which is investigate the role of saddles. So anyway, I thought I would start this off with a story, because horsemen love to tell stories, and the older they get, the more stories they have to tell. So that's how I'll work my way into that. One of the things that I believe is that it doesn't matter if stories are true. What matters really is how we use them to our benefit, to learn, to point us in a direction in which we need to move forward towards, or most importantly, how to aim up. So I'll share a couple of stories with you and we'll see if we can get some benefit from them. So the first story I'm going to tell is a true story about a story that's not true. So some years ago, a woman stopped by the farm looking for vintage saddles for a movie that she and her husband were making. And the movie was based on C.W. Anderson's book series, Billy and Blaze. Everybody familiar with that? Anybody familiar with the movie? It's coming, I'm told. This happened to be the first book that I checked out of the library in elementary school, and it's also a book that Kelly was very familiar with. But in order to flesh out the screenplay, they had to embellish the story somewhat, adding more characters and subplots. And one of the add-on characters was a character of Billy's grandfather, who was an Olympic gold medalist. In the movie, he works a deal to get Billy a very nice pony, and then teaches him how to ride. And so this gal wanted to know if I would consider playing the part of Billy's grandfather. And I said I wasn't old enough, but in a word, no, because I wanted to play the part of Billy. But that wasn't an option. So anyway, she was undeterred, and she went away and she found Kelly, and they had a little conversation, and Kelly looked at the script, and next thing you know, I was signed up for it. So anyway, it will be a darling movie if it ever gets made, and if you haven't seen the trailer, it's at billyandblazethemovie.com, and I thought if we can pull it up, it might be fun to have a quick look at it, because it really is quite lovely.
There was a time when books were friends of childhood. Pictures printed on paper would come to life. A favorite book would never be forgotten. We'd stay outside and daydream.
I haven't seen you without a mustache before.
To listen to hooves beat a rhythm you could follow like a song. Billy was a little boy who loved horses more than anything else in the world.
Did you say that dog's name is Rex?
Yeah, I think you can keep them if you can't find the owner.
Now go tell your mother to wash them.
Oh, Giddy, the dog's happy.
Put that cup down.
Friends were precious. We'd take the time to make one.
I wish I had a riding teacher like that.
He's not giving me riding lessons. I don't know, probably because he died.
A boy's dream.
Jordan, remember some of stuff right after Wyatt.
Give it all the hope you got. I'm gonna match it.
Outside to gather dreams, to last a lifetime.
It's lovely, isn't it? We really hope that it does get made. It's in post-production, I'm told. Anyway, I so enjoyed working with these lovely children and their ponies, and it brought me back to my own experiences growing up on a horse farm on Long Island. And this is my darling pony, Sunday Surprise. So obviously, Billy and Blaze isn't a true story, but in some ways, it's more than true. It's a collective, an amalgamation of so many of our own stories. It's about our beginnings as riders when we had what I would call a beginner's mind. So here's one idea to explore. What exactly is a beginner's mind, and why would this be important to riding well? With a beginner's mind, we're the most open to learning. We view the world with a certain wonder, an innocence, and curiosity. Our ideas are not formed. We have no preconceptions or emotional baggage. This is exemplified in Billy's character and in his relationship with Blaze. As we gain knowledge and experience, we lose our beginner's mind. It's understandable and indeed normal. But there's a danger here. The danger is that in our knowledge and certainty, our riding can become mechanical, rote, or habitual. As we develop certain habits or reach limitations, physical or mental, our progress stalls. Our experiences often create preconceptions which are not necessarily accurate or helpful. Often this leads to stagnation in the relationship with our horses. We do what we do because that's the way we do it, and our horses tolerate it, mostly. We then turn to activities to keep our interest and theirs rather than being fascinated, absorbed, and engaged in the ongoing exchange. So what do we do? How do we maintain some of our beginner's mind? Here's at least a partial answer. Horses live in the moment. We need to live in this moment with them, moment after moment after moment. This requires us to be ever more attentive. We are a distracted people, always busy, always talking, always doing. Note that Billy is not, nor does he have a cell phone or an iWatch. Riding well really means learning the language of horse. And to learn it well, we need to talk less, be less busy, and listen more carefully, both on the ground and on their backs. So a few years ago, I had a chance to work with Monty Roberts, who at the time was 83 years old. This man has an extraordinary capacity to focus, to be in the moment with a horse. And despite his years of experience and thousands of horses he's worked with, he maintains a beginner's mind, open to learning, curious, full of wonder, but with what one might call a well-tutored intuition. This is a characteristic of all great horsemen I have ever known. This is me 50 years later with my well-tutored intuition. Okay, so on to the next story.